And joining me in studio today is Mr. Doug Klepper with Deep Rock Energy Resources as we continue our edition of Focus on Energy here in Cushing. And Doug, it's great to have you in studio with us today. And
Thanks,
you represent Deep Rock Energy Resources. And you know, Deep Rock to me is kind of a unique situation. Let's talk a little bit about the history, because that kind of it's a homegrown company, I think. So let's talk just a little bit about that.
Sure. Deep Rock was started by Glenn Collum. He's from Perkins, and his brother Randy. And they grew up around here, farming, baling hay out where our terminal is currently located. They got in a position in their careers where they wanted to work for themselves, and Glenn has over 30 years of midstream experience. Randy over 30 years of trucking experience, probably 40 years. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of combined their knowledge and know-how along with other key personnel from that they knew in the past, and formed Deep Rock Energy Resources and Premier Trading and Transportation.
Well, and there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, just starting a business in and of itself, any kind of business, I mean, comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles you have to jump over. And with all the regulations in this type of business, I'm sure there were a lot of challenges that you had to overcome.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of challenges, and but they took it head on. And in 2009 is when they formed Deep Rock Energy Resources and set up offices in Cushing, and just they knew the hurdles that needed to be cleared. But they took a lot of their relationships and started with a green with farmland that they used to hay. Were able to purchase that ground and went out and through their relationships got a contract to build a terminal for Mercuria.
Wow. Wow. And Mercuria is more or less the money, the financing behind that?
They're a trading company that agreed to have us store their crude. And so we did a terminal construction and operating agreement and built 4 million barrels of storage here.
Wow.
And then that expanded to another 250,000 barrel tanks.
Wow.
And then at that point, we secured a joint venture with Kinder Morgan. And it kind of took off from there. We also built a 4 million barrel storage facility for Gavilon. We operated that for a while until they took over. Gavilon's now NGL. Mm-hmm. And we also operate the Coffeyville terminal on the south side of Cushing.
Okay, wow. So you've accomplished a lot in just 5 years, really.
Yeah.
So you have a total of how many storage tanks? And
at our current terminal, we have our terminal is really broken down into two. We have Deep Rock North, which is a joint venture with Mercuria and Kinder Morgan, and we have 7 250,000 barrel tanks. And the Deep Rock Development is a joint venture with Kinder Morgan and soon to be Tallgrass, who's bringing the Pony Express pipeline to Cushing. And that'll terminate at our terminal, bringing several thousand barrels per day. And so that, right now we have 3 250,000 barrel tanks for Deep Rock Development. That soon, we're building 6 additional tanks.
Wow. Wow. And you say the Pony Express?
Correct.
Is that a line that's coming?
That's a line coming from Guernsey, Wyoming.
Okay.
That's going to be bringing approximately 250,000 plus barrels a day.
Wow.
That's coming to our terminal. And then we're adding distribution pipelines for it to other parties in Cushing.
So, and do you typically have an operations basis, or I mean, of transferring the oil and stuff? Most of these companies have like an operating room with their, it's like almost a, what do you call it, the flight
it's called a SCADA system. And what it is, all of our tanks, our whole manifold, all of our everything is on a big computer screen.
Right.
And I could monitor that computer screen from my phone, from my iPad. And but our operators are trained on it, and it's just a push of a button. You can transfer from one tank to another, or from down one pipeline to another facility.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. And do you coordinate a lot of that with some of the other companies as well? As reading in some of your material, Rose Rock is involved with that? Or?
We have direct connections right now with Rose Rock and Blue Knight, just across the road from us. But with all of our other connections that we'll have as a result of this Pony Express construction. Scheduling is everything here in Cushing.
Right.
With so many terminals, and as everybody knows, they call Cushing the pipeline crossroads of the world.
Right.
And it is. Cushing, if you look at all the pipelines around it, it's like a spider web of pipelines. And every terminal is connected to each other in one way or another.
Okay.
And so scheduling is everything. Once we know, hey, next month we're going to be sending this many barrels from our terminal to this terminal, we're on the horn with them, and everybody works together to make room, or to move it for each other.
So you schedule that, like you say, scheduling is everything, and so you share the pipelines that come down through there. I mean, is that a competitive thing at all, or I mean, even in the market as far as selling and storing the crude, is that all competitive as well?
Everybody around here has to work together. We're really one community. Sure, I mean, it can be competitive, but it's all part of the process.
Right.
For whoever owns the oil, they have a contract that it's going to get from point A to point B.
Okay.
And so whatever route that takes to get there is part of the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by whatever means it takes to get there, everybody kind of is
Yeah,
aware of that.
we'll have connections, and we know that if Company A wants it to go to from our terminal to Company B, we're going to have a connection agreement in place that allows that.
And typically, how far out do you have to schedule those?
We'll find out for example, it's typically the last week of the month that we'll find out that needs to be scheduled.
Okay.
We'll get next month's nominations
Orders.
ahead of time. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's interesting, the way that all of that works together,
Yeah.
and I think it's unique that with all the pipeline companies here in town that everybody has to work together, everybody has to coordinate things together, everybody has to communicate to make it for a safe and a better environment for everybody.
Absolutely, and we take pride in the fact, a lot of the folks that operate these terminals are local people, but we take pride in the fact that we're the only company here in Cushing that's actually headquartered
Right.
in Cushing.
Yeah.
And
Right down here on Broadway.
That's right,
Yeah.
right across from Dollar General.
Yeah.
and so it's great, and so if we have any problems out at the terminal, if there's an issue, a computer's down or something, or we want to show folks what's going on with our construction, we don't have to travel from our out of town office or out of state office.
Right.
Glenn he'll be right out there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah. Well, that's a unique thing, and like I say, all the challenges and stuff to overcome. But a lot of credit to Glenn and Randy for having the vision and the foresight to put something like this together in such a magnitude and doing so many things in such a short time. So, how many employees does Deep Rock employ?
Right now, I want to say, I'm going to guess, we're probably about 30 folks, but we've been growing quite a bit lately with a lot of construction going on this year. We've hired some new operators, we're hired some new office staff, and new folks with our trading and transportation company. We've also started a marketing arm, so we've hired some new folks for that. So it's hard to keep up right now with the numbers just because of our growth, especially this year.
Yeah. Well, the future looks bright for Deep Rock. So
Absolutely.
And speaking of which, your community efforts and things. Of course, you've been a sponsor with us over the past year, and we've certainly enjoyed that. Having what we call the Deep Rock Energy Sports Extra, and that's allowed us to go a little deeper with some of our sports coverage that we have because of your sponsorship and some of our others out there. And we certainly appreciate that, and I hope that continues as well. We're looking forward to a great year with that. But that all comes back to some of the community initiatives and things. And I've been in some meetings also with Jim and some of the other people that are involved in Safety Alliance of Cushing and some things like that. And I think the heart really, for a lot of you guys is to give back. And we've heard from some others in the way of emergency responding. and some things like that you guys are involved with as well.
Sure. Jim Roop's been really into the SAC committee, and taken part in some of the different simulated
Exercises.
emergencies and that sort of thing. And but yeah. With all these companies here in Cushing, it's very important, and it's a part of each company's plan. Is we have to protect the town too,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
and be prepared.
Well, and I think that's the important message for our community to know is that it's not that, we got all these trucks going up and down our roads and all these kind of things, but you guys are here for the betterment of our community and what you guys bring and you infuse into our economy. And man, our hotels are full, and
yeah.
we've got a lot of ancillary businesses out there that really provide a lot of service because of the energy companies here in town. So it's really great to have everybody a part of that. And so I know you guys are involved with community initiatives. And any final message that you'd like to put out there as far as what Deep Rock is and what you want the community to know?
Oh, Deep Rock, it's, to be honest, a family business. We've grown with a lot of family members are part of Deep Rock and Premier, and it was set up to take care of folks not only in the family but also folks around the community. Yeah. And like I said, we've grown in a very short time, and we're pretty proud of that and happy to contribute to the community because we are all local.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Doug, it's been great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
We certainly thank you for watching and joining us for this edition of our Focus on Energy.